So in this video we're going to look at some troubleshooting steps we can take if things aren't quite going to plan in Kubernetes. Now first I've just got a tip, and that is kubectl is a bit of a command to type. So a good thing to do is alias it. Now in Windows you can do alias, and then we can say k equals kubectl, and then when we just type k it will alias to kubectl, so it's a quick shortcut to be able to cut down the amount you need to type. Now if you have I'm using a bash terminal here, so if I do my home directory /bash rc, you're probably aware that script will run every time you open a new bash terminal, and there's similar techniques for all different types of shells, so you can put the alias in there, and then from then on you don't have to keep typing kubectl. You can just type k, and that will save you some time. Now in the last video we installed Kubernetes, and we installed our microservice into the mshwns namespace. So I'm going to go into that now, mshwns, and one of the things, if things aren't working, if I do kubectl get all, if we were stuck with a container creating or a container that keeps crashing, so there's a status of crashback loop something or other, or container creating, these things mean that the pod isn't working. For some reason it's failing to initialize. But if that was the case, what we could do is kubectl get events, and that would give us a list of events which have happened, such as creating the container, starting the container, creating the pod, scaling up the replica. So all different events that are happening in our various objects in Kubernetes there. So if things aren't working, if things aren't starting up properly, that's a good place to have a look. Other things you might want to use the event for is if your ingress isn't initializing properly, or if your service isn't starting up properly. Anything that isn't working properly and it's not your fault, because, or rather it's not your code's fault because your pod isn't even starting, then have a look in the events list there. The other thing is logs. So in Spring Boot we have our standard Spring Boot output. Obviously we can add to that. In code we can output things. If we want to have a look at the logs inside of a pod, I'll just do kubectl get pods, mshw deployment, and then if I copy the name of that and do kubectl logs, and then there we can paste the name of the deployment there, we can see the logs out of Spring Boot there. So that's another thing. If the component is running but there's an error inside it, we can have a look there to see what's happening. So if Kubernetes seems to be working properly but your microservice isn't working properly, then have a look in the logs there, and obviously you can change the debug level in Spring Boot to produce more output for you to troubleshoot things there. So that's a very quick video, but I just wanted to go through some steps that you can take if things aren't going to plan. Obviously I'm making things look quite easy here because I'm rehearsing and making sure they work before I make the video, but for you things might not go quite to plan and you may need to take some of these troubleshooting steps to get things working. In the next video we're going to look at Spring Boot profiles. So we can have a dev profile, a test profile and a production profile, and then we're going to add some configuration files over the next few videos. We're going to use Kubernetes config maps and secrets, where we can put bits of configuration into Kubernetes objects. So stay tuned if you want to see that. So thanks for watching.